this is going to sound terrible. Fuck it. I hate when other people get listings and I don't get them. I don't care that there's 70,000 listings. I want them all.
Yeah.
So when I see everybody and I know as a Christian, we're supposed to love the other, but inside of me goes, oh, you should have those. You should. And just my competitive spirit. Now, could I take on all the listings in the world? Of course not. That's impossible. Nobody can do that. But just innately, when I see somebody else, I'm like, oh, you got another listing, huh? And I try to turn that off. I try to be nice about it because it's, again, I do wish well for everybody, but my competitive spirit inside is you need more listings. You're not supposed to judge yourself by social media, but it does get those.
It does get to you.
It does get to me. Oh, yeah.
Welcome back, and this is the DC Talks podcast with David Chinelli. We're back this week for a brand new episode. Hope you enjoyed last week. So we kind of got deep into things that are going in Hollywood, pedophilia, all that good stuff. We're back with something a little bit more lighter, getting into the life of DC with the things that are going on, getting his perspective on his business and life. Before we get to that, how the main man right here, DC? How's it going?
It's all right. It's been a busy... Since I last saw you, the market's all over the place.
It's all over the place.
Holy crap, man. It's, we just got hammered. It's like everybody and their sister right now is coming out. They're trying to figure out what's going on in the market. It's a lot of activity, a lot more listings coming out. So it's interesting to say the least. Yeah. I haven't seen my family as much as I usually do, but they get it, right? They get it, right?
Exactly.
Well, my wife too, we go home and it's she's exhausted.
She's exhausted.
I think last night she went to bed at 9:15. She goes, my God, I think it's 10 o'clock. She just went to bed. And I'm like, you're just done, yeah, you're tired.
Yeah. And, it's a great thing you bring that up because that's what I wanted to discuss with you today is this idea of balancing business and especially at the level that you're at, being an established realtor, experienced great success, in my opinion. You might see otherwise, where you don't feel like you're at the place you want to be, but outsiders looking in, I can say you're pretty successful. And also juggling, of course, DC, right? You're an inspiration to me and other people. And one thing I've been wanting to know is just how do you deal with the happiness? Because in my opinion, happiness is a preparation for wanting more happiness. I feel like you can never really be really, really happy with where you're at. And I had this realization. I was like, you know what? Oh, if I strip everything that I'm working on towards right now, building the business, what can I be happy with? All I care about is okay, I can, and it's going to sound very simple too. I was like, if I have a roof over my head, I can watch the Raptors, I can golf every weekend or just do some sort of activity and make money just to sustain my life, I'll truly be happy. One of the key things that I wanted to discuss with you is how do you deal with the uncertainty of maybe not really attaining the goals that you have with the way some things can be out of your control. For example, interest rates can rise. People might be scared to be buying, but you have high expectations of yourself. Yeah. How do you balance that out and actually getting to where you want to be?
Well, you also have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I'm very uncomfortable because if I hit my goal, I didn't set it high enough.
Yeah.
So I'm always going to be uncomfortable. And if I didn't hit my goal, then I get hard on myself. Why didn't you hit your goal? So I'm actually living in uncomfortability, I guess the words you would say. Yeah. I've learned how to live uncomfortable because, well, again, if I hit my goal, then why didn't I change it? Right. So I'm always, at the end of the year, my goal is hopefully going to increase, right? And keep changing. And I want to push myself to that point, but it's learning how to feel uncomfortable, feeling comfortable in uncomfortability, right? That's the goal, right? Because, and then at the end of the day, maybe at the end of the year, you get your award, sit back, it's okay, then really sit down and let's sit down and say, how did I do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you're doing day to day and you're patting yourself on the shoulder, you're not going to push.
Yes.
You're not going to want to do better. You're not going to, and to me, I think for me, I do well under pressure. I do well, on game day. I remember I didn't study for tests that well. I hardly ever study. I'm not a good studier, but I would wait to study for a test maybe a day or two before, or I would write my paper a couple of days before because the pressure would always make me do better. I remember I tried writing a paper a week in advance. Man, it sucked. It was just even as a kid, I was there was no pressure. I would write a couple of sentences here and there. There was that's not how my brain works, where I like the pressure. I know what I need to do, and that's how I perform.
You
better.
like your creative juices come when
Yeah.
you're being tested. And did this apply to every other place in your life? Let's say sports,
Absolutely.
everything. Like when there's actually a lot on the line, that's when we get the best of David.
I am the worst shinny player. You know what shinny hockey is?
What's shinny? Wait.
Shinny hockey was created back in the day where you would go on like play hockey with everybody. You pay like $1, and it used to be called shinny because you weren't allowed to raise the puck because it was like you would just throw a pair of skates on and then go with the glove, and that's why it's called shinny. But basically, it's unorganized hockey, right?
Yeah.
So it's or pond hockey, let's call it. Well, now we call it shinny, but it's like you get full outfits, sort of full gear.
Yeah.
And I'll go on that and stuff too. And we'll say, we'll play games up to 5. And like, because there's no referee, there's no real time, there's no pressure. I'm usually terrible in those games. Like, and as a goalie, right? It doesn't. So unless if you start counting score, I get better because I try to beat the other goalie.
Exactly.
But if we're just playing just to play, God, I can care less. My brain's somewhere else. I'm thinking like, I just noticed that even as a kid. So when people come up to me like, hey, do you want to play shinny? I don't know. Is there time?
Yeah.
is there a referee? Is like, because to me, I always like to have a goal, even when I'm playing, right?
Yeah.
Like golf, for example. I'm not great at golf, but I don't play enough of it to be good at it. But I like to play, just try to beat somebody.
And compete.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
You're going to be like, I kicked your ass. Like when we're out there, like,
absolutely.
and talk shit and like, just be like, listen,
Yes.
take that.
Yeah.
You know, even like when
But here's a better one.
What's up?
Besides golf. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but what I do with my kids, listen, parents, don't go easy on your kids when you're playing board games against them.
No, rub it in their face.
Rub it in their face. The competitive juices go. I think if you teach the kids at an early age how to compete. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off about the golf thing.
No worries.
But I wanted to talk before, again, my brain goes somewhere else. But with my kids, I never let them beat me in anything. If they beat me legit, I'm like, respect.
Yeah.
My dad taught me that too. But we'd play checkers and
Yeah.
he'd sometimes kick my ass.
Yeah.
And then when I started beating him once in a while, and then stuff, we'd go back and forth and stuff when we were kids. And I was younger, like in my teenagers and stuff too. And it was good competition.
Yeah.
It teaches you how to lose. I'm not the best loser, I'll be honest, because it frustrates me to lose, which I actually like. If I was, I can be graceful and stuff, but even my kids know when I play board games with them, like we do family game night.
Yeah.
I'm just not the best winner or loser. I'm not the best winner. I'm okay if a winner. Sorry, winning wise, I'm just okay.
It's like you expect to win, but when you lose, you're
I don't
like,
rub it in
"God
their
damn."
face.
Yeah.
Unless they talk trash,
Yeah.
and then it's on. Then it's on. But again, I think we all need something to compete against. I don't believe in just going through life just like lots of days ago, like la,
Yeah.
the life is grand, all that.
No, you need an adversary in everything that you're doing. It could be versus yourself. It could be versus another person. Multiple ways, but I think it makes you rise to the occasion, and I think it gets you better because if you're not pushed, you're not really gonna, see the best potential.
This also helps me with real estate too. I hate this is gonna sound terrible. Fuck it. I hate when other people get listings and I don't get them. I don't care that there's 70,000 listings.
Yeah.
I want them all.
Yeah.
So when I see everybody and I know as a Christian, we're supposed to love the other, but inside of me goes, oh, you should have those. You should. And just my competitive spirit. Now, could I take on all the listings in the world? Of course not. That's impossible. Nobody can do that. But just innately, like when I see somebody else, I'm like, oh, you got another listing, huh? And I try to turn that off. I try to be nice about it because it's, again, I do wish well for everybody, but my competitive spirit inside is like, you need more listings. Look at so-and-so. He's got and again, you're not supposed to judge yourself by social media, but it does get those.
It does get to you.
It does get to me. Oh yeah.
And, it's actually a great thing you brought up the real estate because I wanted to transition that to talk about your business and where you're at right now. To those realtors who are watching you, they're seeing you climb up the levels of success that you had over the years. What are the harsh realities of being a realtor today that a lot of new realtors don't know? But with your experience and your insights, perhaps you could share some things that you're noticing that they can't see as of yet.
There's a lot of time and effort in planning and when properties get ready, right? So if you want to get top dollar for what you do, you have to provide the service. That's it, full stop. Like if you're not doing the right things, if you're not presenting the house the best way, you're not going to make the money you're going to have. You're not going to showcase the property well. your clients aren't going to refer you because they're not putting your whole effort in. They want to see the
And they
transition.
can feel it. They can feel
when you're in
the
there.
effort.
You have to love this business.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my clients, we're listing their property this week, and we just have everything. I met with them. They've had other realtors. They met with 8 ones, and the mother and daughter were both said to me, they're like, "Wow, you really love what you do, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not doing this for a paycheck. I'm not. It's just, here's the level I'm doing. Here's what you did wrong with the last one. Here's how I can help you." You also have to be a problem solver in the sense that you have to see every single property as a problem and how you can solve it and what you can do to solve those issues to get you maximum dollar. Don't just go into a property saying, well, start calculating how much money you can make.
Like the commission.
The commissions. That'd be the biggest pitfall. So, but the thing is, like, it takes time to figure out your systems and develop those systems, getting the right people in the right place. I got a great set of cleaners that come in. We do clean all the properties. I take care of that, booking all that. I have obviously a fantastic stager with my wife that comes and she has a great eye for that, makes all properties pop. The photographer I use, there's some trials and tribulations. You're going to go through and maybe have 3 or 4 photographers and go through the videos and figure out what you like, but it's always ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep changing and making your business better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what business you're in. Mm-hmm. If you're not always trying to be at the top level of your game, you're going to get buried. Well, I say this to my brother, who's also into the hairdresser, and I'm like, you need to do this. My dad and I talked to him before, and it's, I want to get into that kind of stuff, but it was also relatable with hairdressing. If you're not going into conventions, if you're not constantly learning, there's somebody out there who's maybe getting their license right now.
Yeah.
Who's going to come in and they're going to whip your ass because you're doing the same thing you did 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And that really, it translates because, well, look what we've done in the last few years. We never had reels a couple of years ago. And now I still do my 6-minute long video when you come look at the property and it talks about it and how beautiful it is. But on Instagram, the algorithm doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So you also have to be up to date with what sells, like social media. So these are kinds of things. You're not just a realtor. You're also an influencer at this point. Mm-hmm. You have to know how
you're a content creator.
You're a content creator, right? And I'm sorry, showing your tits and ass and getting to sell a listing is not a fucking realtor. I'm sick. I'm sorry. I say that. That drives me nuts. Or watching Selling Sunset. I think you're just going to be a luxury agent because you wear short skirts and high heels. You would be amazed on how many people I've run into in the last couple of weeks, how many said they just want to be a luxury agent. They just got their license. And you can tell that they've done work, mm-hmm. on their
assets.
On their assets. And I'm like, no, you don't want to be a luxury agent. You want to get grassroots, figure out how to sell a house, how to talk to somebody. Because when you get to the high level and if you don't know how to sell, all you're going to be is a trophy piece and something mm-hmm. like you look great. I'm not saying that, but that's not going to get you a sale. If you don't know anything about a house, that's not going to get you a sale. Mm-hmm. If you don't know sales. So there's all those things. So you have to be a content creator. You have to look the part. But I don't always agree with, fake it until you make it. Learn. Mm-hmm. Start. If you don't know how to sell, start taking some marketing courses. Mm-hmm. Start learning online. Like there's so many books talking to how do you talk to people? How do you get the maximum, value for yourself?
Absolutely.
So that is the thing I find that people don't realize is like, you're not just selling homes. Mm-hmm. The other thing is you're dealing with people and their biggest asset. Now, if you screw up, you can bankrupt somebody.
Yeah.
That's on you.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen that before.
And how do you manage those expectations, right? Because if you have this amount of pressure where you have a mom and dad, a newborn, they're moving out of that townhouse, they're looking to buy that first house, they don't have much saved, and you're a rookie in the game. You're a new realtor and you just got your license and you have this level of expectations. Give us more insights on how do you deal with that?
So how do I deal as a rookie, or how do I deal as a now?
Now and as a rookie, and how did you deal with that? Because expectations are massive.
So the first thing is when it comes as a rookie, when you come into this game now as a realtor, you have to have somebody you need to bounce ideas off of.
It's critical.
It's huge. When I see so many people coming in and they're brand, and again, go talk to other new agents that have just got their license and they're working with the company, I'm like, well, have they told you need training? No. Well, what about your manager? Like they have nobody to talk to. I'm like, but their split is good. I'm like, I don't care if your split's 100-0. If you don't have a sale, 100% of zero is still $0. You're not making any money because they haven't taught you how to be a realtor. Remember, in real estate, they teach us with the courses how not to get sued and how to protect your clients, what to put into your offers, etc. They don't tell you how to sell. They don't tell you how to get potential sales. They don't tell you how to deal with people. They don't tell you that it's a psychological purchase when it comes to residential. Remember, commercial is more of, facts and figures, numbers. Residential, all of residential sales, I don't care who it is, it's an emotional purchase or a buy. I always see when buyers go in to a house and they fall in love, and this is what I try to do. I try to get them to fall in love. They will purchase with their heart, and then they'll try to justify it later on with their brain why it makes sense. So knowing this, right, you need to have somebody who has experience. So if you don't have experience, have somebody that can team you up, that you can team up with that has experience. So it could be, in my situation, I teamed up with a fantastic brokerage. We had training courses. They taught me how to sell. They gave us opportunities. It's not always here's a lead. No, it's like, I need a manager. Okay, I'm in this kind of situation. I'd call them and text them, like, we have 3 of them, 4 of them. Actually, one's just messaging me now. And we're constant communication. Can you help me out? I don't know what to do here. So they give you training. They give you support when you need, and they also bring in coaches. And they teach you how to get more business. And if you want, you can hire them, as be part of their program. So that's what our brokerage does. So they help you. Then there's always the team aspect or a mentor aspect, right? Like I mentor young realtors. They come in, it's part of, it's a loose team. It's different than what I do than a team. But you also have team, but not all teams are created equal. Some teams are just a number. You're going in there and they'll throw you leads and they'll let you sink or swim and they don't care, right? That's not, again, you have to interview your brokerage. You have to interview your team, your leaders, those kinds of things. But you need somebody to teach you those ways. Now, when it comes to me now as a veteran, I still sometimes bounce ideas off of colleagues that are in the same level as I do. I still talk to my managers on a daily basis if I need to. But what I also do is we sit down and we talk with the client. What are you looking to do here? Because if somebody calls you up and says, hey, I want to sell. Great. If you go in there, okay, so here's the comparable market analysis and here's what we can get. And they start doing whoa.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Yeah.
Step back.
Take a woosah.
Maybe the question you should ask them first is great. Why are you looking to sell? What are you trying to accomplish by this? Once you get that, it's okay, are you looking to upgrade? Are you looking to downgrade? Are you in a divorce situation? Did somebody die? Know the facts. So that will help you guide how to treat this person. And again, every client's different. Every needs are different. If you're not listening to their needs and you're just fulfilling your own needs because you want to get a paycheck, you're not going to last long.
So, and that's an interesting thing you bring up, because part of the allure of coming in this business is the financial rewards that come with it if you close a sale.
Do you remember how many agents had 0 sales last year?
It was more than 50%.
No, it was 47%.
47%?
So,
okay, well, close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
Close enough. Thanks for the correction there.
No
but
problem.
yeah, close to 50% didn't make a sale. So how do you manage those expectations? Because one of the key things that you stressed a lot is the reason you're doing this is because you want to help people.
Yes.
Right. And as far as I know, that hasn't changed. And the more you help people, the more money you make. But the person who's coming in the business right now, they have perhaps no other source of income. And one thing you said several episodes ago is you're not going to go to a part-time mechanic. No, you're not, right?
No.
So you have.
Would you take a Ferrari to go to Would you take a Ferrari to a Mazda mechanic?
No, you're not. So, but the thing is, there's this little bubble that you've got to get over to get to that space where, okay, you're established, you're making money, you're helping people. The happiness is actually the main thing, because you know that you have constant referrals, you have clients coming in, so you actually get to enjoy the craft of being a realtor. But it's not like that for the rookies. They're dealing, okay, I gotta just get this thing going. So what is your advice to those people? who are starting and they're trying to close that sale. They know they need to make money, and they're like, you know what, screw happiness. I just gotta grind it out. Because DC, that's the reality.
Yeah.
As much as we can say you're happy doing it, because you've been doing this, you've cracked the code.
Don't get me wrong. There's always days in all of our jobs you're just like,
Yeah.
why did I do this?
Yeah,
Of
course.
And you're starting off like, I wake up at 6:15. I pray, I read the Bible, I work out,
Yes.
then gym, and then I start working. And then there's days I don't go to bed until like midnight. And I'm like, the other day last week we were working on an offer. I was six scotches deep by the time I went to bed. I was just so tired. I was like, and it was just because I was working on an offer, and then the offer didn't go through. They said, "Oh, we're gonna do it in the morning." I'm like, "Wow, I'm already a couple of scotches deep. Might as well have a couple." Because I needed something to relax, and I hadn't had any time. Anyway, so what's my story?
So the thing is that a lot of people
don't do that, by the way.
Yeah, don't be scotches deep trying to get through that.
Oh, I knew the offer wasn't happy that night, so it's okay to have it.
Just took it easy, man.
But 6 o'clock in the morning was a little rough. But anyway, that's why you work out to work out the booze. But that doesn't happen every night. That's an anomaly. But anyway, sorry. Go on.
But what I'm saying is that a lot of people early on don't have the luxury to chase the happiness of wanting to help people. They're chasing the luxury of, man, I started with happiness trying to do this, but I need a financial breakthrough to really feel like the rewards are coming.
Of course. Yeah. I deal with that all the time. And it's like, so you have to ask yourself as well, like you have to, first of all, I'm not saying you do this to be happy and not put time and effort into it. Holy shit. Oh, and that's not what I'm saying. The grind is for real. You have to put the grind. You also have to put the grind in knowing you may not see a paycheck for 3, almost 6 months sometimes. So what you're doing today is building up your pipeline at least 3 months out. So you have to know that. So what you need to do, especially if you're brand new in this game, get a line of credit, a loan, or something that you can, for 6 months, can you rely on to pay. It's the nature of it. So you're not worried about that money coming in, so you can grind it out. And what does grind out mean? Grinding out means is like, you have to put yourself out there. You have to figure out ways at which you can promote yourself, market yourself. And what is that? Sometimes that's like in the mornings, you should be, talking to people, phone calls, whether that's people that you know, and try to blast your name out there. There's creating videos, doing that. There's open houses you should be doing. There's door knocking. There's so many things you could be doing and that's what you need to grind it out. Now, when we're talking about the passion part, once you get the lead, you can cultivate that lead. No, you have to find out why they have reached out to you, resonated well with you. That's where it comes in. But hey, don't be fooled. Even if you have that lead, don't just rely on that lead. You're going to have to continue to grind even after you get that lead. You don't rest on your laurels. You continue to grind every single day. So one of my good friends, we used to work with my wife. He's Joe. He works at Nike, and every time he introduced me to somebody, like he's the one that knows Kyle as well, and he was saying to me, he's like, when he was explaining to Kyle about me, he's like, you have to watch David's videos. The one thing that you have, David, he's like, you take rejection well. And I always have. It's just this, like even yesterday, I posted a video of a new house coming in, and this one guy's like, "Oh, this realtor's cringe." Okay, then don't watch my videos. You know what I mean? But the second thing is like, you're consistent. Well, yeah, because I set up my schedule. It's like when I go away on vacation, you have no idea that I'm on vacation. I'm still grinding it out. Monday mornings, I record my videos. I make sure my content's there. We figure out what's going on for the week. It's being consistent. So even if you get that lead, you need to be consistent. Grind it out. You're going to have to grind it out. We're still grinding. I'm still grinding it out. Like, I don't just sit back every morning and say, let me open my computer. I'm like, how many leads do I have today? And then when you do have a lead of somebody who's going to buy and sell, you have to cultivate that lead. You have to make sure.
You got to nurture it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So to think that even the big guys on this planet, the one that are big realtors, right, on this, to think they're not grinding it out is ludicrous, in my opinion. You have no idea about the business. So know that this business is always going to be a grind. You're working for yourself.
Absolutely. And that leads to the second part, right? How do you deal with the doubt of the day-to-day, right? Because you must have some doubt.
Oh yeah. Like I listed a property. Every time I list a property, I'm like, is it going to sell? because you never know how the market's going to react. You might have a beautiful property. Did I price it right? Am I doing the right strategy? And like there's always going to be doubt, you know, and like, and you try to do the best you possibly can, right? But you never know how the market's going to react. You never know if your buddy fucking Justin Trudeau is going to come out and screw you again and talk about fucking capital gains again. Excuse my language, but that drives me nuts. If he's going to come out and everybody panics and there's a whole bunch of inventory on the market and it skews the market. You don't know if that's going to happen. So you can only control what you can control.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to not have doubt. Like right now I have 4 or 5 listings right now. And it was like, you know, it is what it is. It's like some of them, one of them we had an offer date on it. We got a couple crappy offers. So like, again, I knew the story of the clients, what they're looking for. So the narrative was easy. If they don't sell, it's fine. They can lease, right? I have another client of mine. I gave him the numbers, all that stuff too. And he just didn't want to price. He just won't make any money on that. So we listed a little bit higher, but now we're talking like, okay, your neighbor now sold, set a benchmark. You have to bring the price down. So there's some things you just can't control. So I rely a lot on my facts, figures. I try to take out emotion out of it. And we try to approach this the best possible way without putting emotions into it. So when you're talking to your client, you understand they're very emotional, but you try to back it up with facts and figures. It's not personal. So that's also, even though the relationship is personal, when it comes to the market, you have to not be personal about the market. We're trying to pull on the heartstrings of the buyers, but my sellers have to take the emotion out.
Absolutely.
So it's a fine line you have to walk. And again, there's a lot of external forces that you have no control of, so you can't stress over. I can't control what's happening with inflation. I can't control what Justin Trudeau is going to do. I can't control what the Bank of Canada is going to do. I can't control if your neighbor puts up the house for sale and it's priced $1 million less than yours. Okay, well, what are we going to do about it? It's how you react to those things. And that's kind of what we have to look at.
Very well said. How do you deal with the juggle of personal boundaries of like your family, your wife, your kids, and also the business side of things? Because from outside looking in, this drives you. This is your life. As you mentioned, you're staying up scotch deep, working on an offer, right? Those are times where, you know, you could not be spending time with your kids, your wife. And I don't know what your schedule's like, but I can safely assume that there's a lot of things that go on where you might not have time to do things for yourself too. How do you balance those things? And do you sometimes feel bad that you're sacrificing those moments to perhaps help this client and XYZ?
No. Yes and no. Like, so I think we talked about this on the last one of the other podcasts as well. It's about my schedule.
To schedule.
And then if you're going to be late, you know, like sometimes, so we talk about that. We like, for example, tonight I was supposed to be late and one of them canceled. Great. So maybe we'll try to schedule something with the wife or the kids, trying like, okay, let's go for dinner. Like, you know, let's just do that. Right. I set up dates with my wife. We put it in our calendar, like, hey, we're going to, and we actually go out a lot, believe it or not. So with my clients ask, you know, like I'm really good at my schedule and I put everything into my calendar. So they're like, hey, like I have to see this, I want to see this property. I'm like, okay, well, I can't see it at this time. Can we work around here? If I also have other colleagues of mine that in case I can't show a property, you know, I have, you know, Julia to help me out. I have Ariana can help me out with. I have Lori who's going to be helping us with. Chris Kukoc can help me out. So I can help them and I pay them to do showings. So there's nothing in this world more valuable than your time. Okay. Now there is a certain time you have to work, but there's other obligations you have. What I learned early on in my life is that when you make an obligation to your family, put it in the calendar and don't deviate from that. Be there and be there present. I sometimes struggle with that, especially when the busy market. Sometimes I have to go to like communion or first communion or, you know, graduation or something too. And all of a sudden an agent client is like, oh, and I'm like, shit, you're on your phone. You're like, damn it. I try to deal with it right away so I can enjoy the rest of the time with the family. I try to be present. It doesn't always happen that way, but schedule, honestly, Owen, it's huge, especially with your family. Never break a promise for schedule to your kids unless there's something extraneous, like say your wife's
like
not
disaster struck.
Well, say like honestly, say we had dinner and say your wife's like, oh shit, do we have to go?
Yeah.
You got to remember, Natalie's an introvert. she gets comfortable around certain people, but she doesn't like, she also gets drained of energy. So it's like for her, she almost like rather stay at home most of the time. But I understand like last night, like we finished our work, we sat down, like it was like 9:00 and they were like, she doesn't mind just sitting there. And I'm like, to me, I like going out and meeting people gives me energy.
Yeah.
We're drained. So I also have to take that into consideration. So I try not to overschedule. Like there's some days I had like dinner set up for us like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then middle of the day for like a barbecue on Sunday. She could have killed me, you know? But we're involved in there too. It's draining. So you also have to know your partner in that too, and just be vocal. A lot of it is communication too. We talked a little bit before about my daughters. Like it was a crazy week. I didn't cancel anything on them, but I didn't see them. I'm like, you know what, guys, we're going out for dinner tonight. Yeah, I actually might do that tonight too. I think you know. Come to think of it, because I'm going to be all over the place. I said to Natalie, maybe she hasn't cooked, but we'll see. We'll figure it out. But once in a while, it'll just be spontaneous. Let's just go for dinner.
Nice.
Yeah.
As we're towards wrapping up, last question, right? We spoke about your real estate business, family. I'm curious to know, what are some of the things that you believe that you could get better at as a realtor? Name like 3 things that, you know what, I need to do this to take my game to the next level.
I don't know. I thought because I'm always looking to improve, right? You know, I think that's a good question, Owen. I don't know if there's 3 things, you know, like
maybe one or 2, like the core thing. You're like, damn, like I need to master this.
Well, the funny thing is I'm continuing to kind of improve. So even like I used to hate writing descriptions, and now with ChatGPT, it helps a lot too. But I would like to be able to, so what I do with my clients, I ask them to give me your top 10 selling features of the home. And what I do is I massage those, and I still have Natalie to look over to them, and she helps, because sometimes it sounds too much. Like if I put in the bot and I play around with it, she's still better with it than me. So I think for me, if like the creative, that maybe aspect of it.
Like the copywriting.
What's that?
The copywriting.
Well, not copywriting, just like creative writing.
Creative writing, yeah.
And I to get better at that, I think just some people have more of a knack at that than I do. I'm always looking to improve my videos. Like I've whatever see that, I was like, oh, that's cool. Let me try that too. I'll try it, and so that's the second thing I always like to improve. I think the third thing would be, the writing aspect. You know, always improving the videos, because every year I'm improving those. So these are things I'm constantly improving.
Yeah.
But I think the third thing would be to buy back some more of my time. I do have to let my teammates, maybe let some of the other people take more of a control over things, because I still
be a better delegator.
Yeah. I think that is a big one for me, because I try to help everybody, you know, and I try to, because and you try not to have the mentality that only I can do this. I can do this better than you. Even though most of the time it's true.
But it's having the trust in other people to get it done.
Yes. And I have to let go of some things too. So I think those are the big ones for me.
Very well said, DC. Well, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed that discussion talking about real estate. If you're a brand new real estate agent coming to the business, DC's DMs are always open. He's a very helpful guy. Ask him some questions on how you want to improve, how you want to get started. And remember, success is a journey. It's not just like some end goal that you're going to keep improving, you're going to keep getting better. And we'll definitely see you next week for a brand new episode of the DC Talks podcast. I've been your gracious host. I know you're going to get cheesed when I say this, Agent 00.
Nobody calls him that.
Yes. And we'll see you on the next episode. DC, thank you again. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe the show. David Chinelli Realtor on YouTube.
I think so.
Yeah, David Chinelli Realtor on YouTube. David V Chinelli _ Realtor on Instagram. Yep. And David Chinelli on TikTok. You'll find him. You'll see a viral clip where he was going off on Trudeau. And that'll be an introduction just to see what we discuss and many other clips. But yes, we'll see you next week, and have a great day. Peace out.
See you.